Okay, so today we're going to be talking about docking and launching. And docking and launching is basically when you're putting your boat into and out of the water. So the first bit we're going to touch up on is docking. Docking is a lot more complicated than launching because there are other factors that aren't really as prevalent when you're launching. So I'm just going to let you guys basically try to figure some stuff out on your own. And if you need help, then I'll help you out when you need it. So let's say that this arrow is the wind, and the wind is pointing downwards like that. So the wind's blowing down like this, and you're this little pink boat, and you're here. And what you want to do is basically get from here to here, where this is, say, home free. Okay, this is when you're docked, you're safe, you're good. Right, so how would you get, do you think, from there down to there? And you can just come up and you try to move the boat. It's really simple.
I think I'd come down here, and then I would turn in here and dock.
Yeah, and that's right, but just one thing that you might want to consider is that if you went like this, you'd get a lot of speed, and then you go like this and be really hard to stop, and you might hit the dock.
Yeah.
So what is another option is if you just came down like this, and then turned, and then started going upwind for a bit, so you lost all your speed, and then docked like this. And that way you wouldn't have any speed, and you'd be docked, and you'd be safe, and you wouldn't hit anybody.
Ah, that makes sense.
Okay?
Okay.
So now, let's put you back here. Let's just add an extra factor of these boats that are just sort of sailing around this area. And for this, we can pretend they're not moving. So just try to find some path for the pink boat to go to get there.
I think that must be your turn.
Okay. Well, I don't want to come too fast down here for the reasons that you said. I might be crashing into this boat. So I would go for a sort of safe route around here, down, and then up through here. There's not much room, but hopefully it does. Up there, and dock.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, right? So you're just trying to make sure you avoid all the other boats and you can dock safely. So now this is a bit different, this situation. In this situation, there's going to have a lot less room, and you're not even going to be able to dock immediately. So let's say this is where you want to dock, and this is all the room you're going to have. And there's already a boat docking, and it's trying to get itself de-rigged, it's trying to get all its sails down, it's trying to get itself out of the water. And these are other boats, and they are going to be sailing, right? And this is you. So if it's like this, and you guys are kind of in a troubled situation where you guys don't have many places to go, and you can't get out of the water immediately, so it's quite likely that if you just randomly sail around, you'll end up crashing into each other. How do you guys think you could arrange the boats or try to get the boats together to make sure that they don't crash into anything?
So you can collaborate with the other boats?
Well, not really. You don't have much time to. It has to be a very basic thing to do, so that any other boat that would come down here could immediately just integrate into it.
Could you hold on to all the other boats?
That could be an option, but the thing is that you don't want to bump boats, and that would end up happening, and that can do some pretty serious damage, especially if you accidentally jive, which is when you turn like this, and then your boom will come swinging way across the boat, and it could hit the other boats, and they wouldn't like that. So it's a good idea, but could you think of any other solutions?
Could you go back out there and come back later?
No, not in this situation. It's storming out there. It's thunderclouds.
Oh.
We can't get these boats to do anything in particular. We just have to avoid them.
No, you can get them to do. You can get them to do stuff. Yeah, but it has to be a very simple system that any other boat that was to come down here could see what you're doing, look at it, recognize it, and then become part of it.
And does it involve then docking?
No.
Could you all go in a triangle?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Perhaps not a triangle, but what you'd want to do is basically just make a circle like this. So as the boats move, yeah. So as the boats move, they just be all going into the area that the other ones were before, so always smart. So this is basically what you're doing here, is you're just doing a collector, which is when you're just tacking and driving around a single point. And in this situation, it's really safe, you have plenty of room from other boats, and you'll all be going in the same area, so you have the same speed, so it's very unlikely that you'll ever crash into each other. Okay, so one other situation now is, let's say you're doing your collector around the imaginary point, but let's say that the winds start picking up and it starts getting like really heavy winds that you start randomly gaining or losing speed, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to control how fast you're going. What do you think you could do there?
You have two concentric circles.
That's not a bad idea, but try to think of stuff more in the boat that you could do.
Take down sails.
Exactly, that's exactly it. If you took down either your mainsail or your jib, then you'd still have the control from your rudder at the back, but you'd lose a ton of your speed, which is great, because if there's this much wind, then you don't need speed anyway, because you're docking. You're not sailing, you don't need to practice anything, you just need to make sure you get in safely.
Okay.
So that's perfect. So the next bit that we're going to touch up on is launching. Launching is quite a bit simpler than docking, because normally, since you're docked, if there's any factors like other boats, you can just wait them out and let them go, and then you'll go next. Okay? Thanks. So, for launching, all you really have to do is make sure that you don't hit anything that could be in your way. So, when launching, if this is you, really all you need to do is just go, make sure you don't hit the dock, and then start sailing up. Okay? And it's really simple like that. And, I mean, really that's all there is to it, but there is one special situation which could give you trouble, and that's if, for instance, you had to launch from here, you had no other option, but the wind's right in your face, so you couldn't sail into the wind, and for some reason, there's some other boats that are docked down here, so it would be really difficult for you to try to duck. What do you think you could do in this situation to try to get out of the docks and get to safety?
Can you come down here?
Down?
Yeah.
No, because
But down, we go down over there.
let's just assume that there's boats everywhere there, so it's really difficult. Okay? And these boats are docked, but you don't want to go too close to them, because if you hit them, then that's your fault for hitting a docked boat.
You could get out and pull your boat along.
Exactly, that's it. You just have to pull your boat along, pull it up here, and then you're good. You're in open waters, and you're safe from anything that can get into your way.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So now I just have a few little tester things, and that would be, if there is, so I'm just going to ask you a few simple questions, and whoever can answer first will, say, get a point.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm just going to draw...
Brownie points?
Yes, brownie points. So I'm just going to draw a situation with the boats,
Yeah.
and then I would like you to tell me what the best possible thing for you guys to do in this situation would be.
Okay.
So if we did it like this, if there's heavy winds, you're up here, and the other boats are sort of just going around. And there's that boat there that's docking.
I joined the rotator thing.
Yeah, you join the rotated thing to make sure that you guys were all able to quickly sail around, right?
Yeah.
But remember, there's heavy winds, so what does that mean?
Take down the sail.
Take down the sail.
Exactly, you want to take down one of the sails, so you both get 1 point for that, because, yeah. Okay, so here's another situation. Let's say, this is something that I haven't covered yet, but let's say you're about to launch, okay? And you've just thrown everything in your boat, and then you get in your boat, your crew and your skipper, you both get in the boat, and then suddenly the boat capsizes. What do you think you could have done to prevent that situation?
Pulling it along the dock.
No, this is something new. It's different.
Oh. Not put up so many sails?
No, it's about the weight distribution in the boat.
Have it more balanced.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the main things you want to do while launching, and that's why when you're launching, you always need to double check, make sure the boat's properly balanced, so that when you and the skipper don't get in, you don't accidentally capsize. Because if all these boats are lined up to get out, and then you capsize or even turtle right here, you know, and if there's wind, say, coming from here, there's no way they can get out.
Right.
Because you're just here, sitting there, doing nothing, getting in everybody's way, which is a huge pain for you, of course, because you're capsized in a, you know, small area, which is very bad. And it's also a huge pain for them because they have to avoid you and they can't even get out and sail.
Right. Okay.
So that's basically it for docking and launching. So do you guys have any more questions?
I don't think so. Do you have a question?
I think it's pretty clear.